Today, I will be discussing the U.S. healthcare system, and the U.S. healthcare system is highly debated because of its high cost of healthcare expenses, and because having access to coverage is highly dependent on employment and socioeconomical status. The healthcare system is an issue here because, as I stated previously, the only people that have access to coverage are people that have jobs that provide insurance for them, or they just have a higher socioeconomic status so they can afford to. And this is an issue because there are people who do not have access to coverage because they don't have a job, or because they simply cannot afford it because they're already paying for other life necessities. And the people who do not have coverage for their medical expenses need to pay full price, and here in the US that is a major issue because everything is so expensive. And today I'll be discussing some of the solutions for these issues, such as universal healthcare, lowering the price of healthcare, and having more accessibility to healthcare. First, I will be discussing what is more than likely the most popular solution, which is universal healthcare. And the reason it is so popular is because it works for other people and it benefits everyone. If the United States were to adopt the universal healthcare system, then that means that every person in the United States would have full access to the full range of healthcare services that they need. It does not matter of how much they make or their background, and they would have access no matter where or when, and they will receive the attention that they need without financial hardship. And which may become a reality for everybody here in California, because Governor Gavin Newsom has proposed universal health care for Californians regardless of their background or income, so everybody would have it. And Medi-Cal currently has medical coverage for people under the age of 26 and over the age of 50. And if this plan were to become a reality, then that would fill in the gap. And then California would be the first state to have universal healthcare in the nation. Yeah, universal healthcare in the nation. And that is from ER costing you the taxpayer fortune, Yeager 2022. And universal healthcare is seen as a very positive thing since it is working for other countries. So because of this, Gavin Newsom is trying to make it a reality here in California, which is really good. And now I will discuss lowering the price of healthcare. Lowering the price of healthcare is another alternative, and because one of the main issues with the healthcare system is the high costs, lowering the prices would help a lot of people. So it would only make sense to reduce the prices to benefit everyone. But in order to help you realize how expensive healthcare is and how much the US spends on it, the healthcare costs of in the United States exceed 14% of the gross domestic product, which is far more than any other nation spends on healthcare. Fry's 1932. One of the ways to decrease the price of healthcare is to better yourself and just to take care of yourself. If you improve your health and prevent preventable illnesses, then ultimately you're reducing the number of doctor visits, hospital visits, medical costs, all of that. And if everybody were to reduce those things, then reducing the number of preventable illnesses would mean that fewer people would need to go to the doctor or hospital, and this would allow them to save money. And by decreasing the demand for doctor visits and the number of preventable illnesses, then there's a chance that the price of healthcare could drop since there are fewer illnesses. And another potential way to reduce prices is to create more competition with medicine. This would make the competitors drop their prices in order to match the other ones to gain more customers and to ultimately get more money. And right now, at the moment, there's currently a lack of competition with medicine, which is leading to them being overpriced and just absurd. And yeah, since there's no competition, the medicine can get even more expensive because there's no one that can stop them. And people that depend on that medicine to live have no other choice but to pay for it, which is unfair to them. And one popular example is insulin. And now finally, I will talk about the issue of accessibility to more healthcare. One of the issues with the U.S. healthcare system is the accessibility to more healthcare. And the reason this is an issue is because many hospitals and clinics and everything are near each other, so it's all centralized in one spot. And normally this is a good thing, however, but some people live like a few miles away from the facilities. And because of this, it becomes much more difficult for them to get there and access the healthcare services that they need. And it can be for various reasons, such as just not having a car, it being too far, not having enough for gas, stuff like that. And so that would be a main issue. And if it's life-threatening, they can call for an ambulance, but some people are hesitant on that just because ambulances are so expensive, so sometimes they just don't. And one solution to this can be mobile clinics, which were widely seen during the COVID-19 pandemic. And they can be set up in places, they could be spread out, move locations, and people would be able to get there because they're a lot nearer and it's more convenient and easier for them. And finally, I will discuss the main problems with the U.S. healthcare system are its outrageous prices and its inconvenience. And some of the solutions that I discussed were universal healthcare, lowering prices for the healthcare, and also having more accessibility for people. And I believe that the most logical solution to all of this is to bring universal healthcare for everyone. And I would say to think about the issue and ask yourself, what do you think would be the best solution for today's current healthcare issue?